And we're live.
Great, thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. I will go ahead and open our special session for May 12th of the Auburn City Council. I will call to order this meeting and ask Amy to take a roll call.
Sure. Councilmember Amara?
Present.
Mackey? Here. Spokely?
Here.
And Mayor Berlant.
And I am here. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move to public comment. These are specifically items that are just on this agenda. We announced last night the email address, the phone number where you could send public comment. Amy, are there any comments on this item?
I did not receive any public comment on this item tonight.
Well, okay, well then we'll go ahead and move forward into council business. Our only item tonight is to discuss our city council vacancy. Just to remind us, we heard from all 5 candidates yesterday. We had an opportunity to ask some good questions. If I'm not mistaken, and Amy, you can confirm this, we do have all 5 available in the waiting room should there be any follow-up questions from them. But we are not planning, unless requested by the council, to hear from them again. But with that, I'll go ahead and just open it up for discussion for us, and we'll go from there. So are there any comments or questions that any of the council has who wants to kick us off here?
I have a question. Do you want us just to comment on each one, or do we just start with deliberations, or does it matter?
I think that is up to us. Since you have the floor right now, if you would like to just go through pros and cons of each one. I mean, I think that we want to be succinct in our meeting tonight, but you want to kick us off and get that started, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
So I'll go in kind of the order that they came on. First, Ben Aleshi did, I first of all want to say, and I think we all said that last night, and I stand by that. It's tough putting yourself out there, and it's a lot of work and a lot of time, and they did a great job, every single one of them. Ben, I thought, has a business, and I know he took over a business that was there for years, Rico, everybody knows him. And so I know from that he sees a lot of people and is in the know. So I think, I appreciate him and his energy. I felt like, some of the questions he answered in a very narrow fashion. I couldn't get a real good grasp of what he stood for, but I know he's a good person. And I think, again, I want to qualify this. They'd all do a good job. Then Alice was the next one. She was, just has an excellent background, so experienced. And I worked with her on Planning Commission. Very professional, very courteous, very knowledgeable. She's been on the council before, and she's been around. She did move on to bigger and better things, maybe. I don't know, but she's very highly qualified, and I have a lot of respect for her. Dallas Drake, I thought was just wonderful to have such a young, energetic, spirited gentleman who, boy, just moved into our area, and just phenomenal that he has volunteered to do this and wants to. He's got some great ideas. I thought his ideas were fantastic, and I think he'd be phenomenal in terms of, I hope if we don't select him that he runs. I think he's got a future. Mike Holmes, he's been around, and I thought it was interesting, the idea of a few months. In some ways, I thought maybe that'd be an idea to go with, but more I think about it, you kind of want someone who's really in it for the long haul. So that was probably a downside, but obviously he's very qualified. He knows Auburn. He's been passionate about Auburn, no doubt about that. Roger, just a wonderful person. I work with him on city council as well. Great background, and from a different perspective, different approach. He has, again, the knowledge to and the ability to step in. So that's just kind of the pros and cons. I want to kind of just give my 2 cents since you asked. That's more the pros, I suppose. Again, I think personally, I'm not going to go into the cons, but I want to just tell you that I personally have narrowed it down to 2, and that's Alice and Roger. I think that we need experience, and I think both of those people provide that. And I have the highest respect for both of them. And I have the highest respect for Alice as a person with her skills. She has ability to do the job. The only thing I was thinking about is, right now, it would be a good time to maybe give someone else an opportunity to contribute. And, for the next few months, it struck me that Roger, he when he interviewed with us, he had some real good specific ideas, and they're ideas that I think we can incorporate quickly, and it would add perspective to our council. I think he really adds perspective. It's somebody different. His experience working with the county for 35 years as a police officer and working through the ranks gives him a very unique perspective that Auburn never had. He's also has technical expertise, and he has a business. So he really is very well-rounded. We all know that if we pick Roger, we know the front runner. I mean, it's been known by a lot of people, as you can see in a lot of the public comments, that Alice would be the front runner. So, if we pick Roger, we'd have 2 great candidates in office, and that would help our city certainly. Cheryl, I know, you came back for a second time and you did a phenomenal job both times, but probably what I'm thinking is that maybe with us, as it relates to us picking someone, that someone coming back a second time, that should be the exception rather than the rule. Just an idea. Matt, I know that Alice, is on planning. You picked her for the planning commission, and, inherently you have pressure to pick her. So it's hard, and it's hard for me to choose between 2 excellent people. But, I guess where I'm at is that, maybe we should do something bold and pick someone who hasn't had a chance or an opportunity, and someone who's obviously very skilled and very passionate, and a person that is very interested in Auburn. So that's just what I would like to add at this point in time.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilwoman Morrow.
Everybody, so.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Mackey?
Thank you, Mayor Berlant. I too want to thank all of the applicants. I mean, it's particularly difficult for those who have never done this before to throw their hat in the ring, then be interviewed by each of us and put themselves out there. And I really give them all a lot of credit for doing that, particularly Ben and Dallas. I mean, they've never been involved in city politics, and they just want to do what's best for our community. And I really appreciated their energy and their ideas. Ben, who is a small business owner, and I understand his concerns about our community and COVID-19. I felt like his issues were just that one issue, and I was a little concerned that he was kind of focused on that, and not really sure whether he was going to run again in November. So I'm a little concerned that somebody's throwing their hat in the ring, as with Mike, who's got a great amount of experience, who really is and has been an asset to the city and done wonderful things for our community. Just stepping in for a few months and then stepping out again, it's really not something I'm comfortable with. I want whoever we're going to choose to run and hopefully be there for the next 4 years. So I'm not comfortable with somebody that's not committed to running. Now, Dallas, he has a lot of energy. I really liked his style. I think that he has something to offer for our community. I think he has a learning curve, though, that I wouldn't be comfortable with right now because of the fact that we have so much going on with our community, not with just COVID-19, but getting a new city manager, probably a new finance director. What are we going to do with our public works planning department now that we don't have that director anymore? You know, there's a lot going on that we have decisions that need to be made pretty soon. So along with the new city manager choice, which is going to be done this Thursday. So as much as I liked Dallas very much for this position, I felt like it would be too much of a learning curve for him right now. So that also puts me with Alice and Roger, who Roger, I got to know when he was running for city council 4 years ago. I was very impressed with him. And I thought that he would certainly be an asset for our city. And I liked him very much. And I am so happy that he's going to run in November, as I'm happy that Alice is going to run. But I have to be perfectly frank with you, and I'm going to throw it right out there right now. I've worked with Alice. I know how hard she works. I've been in the trenches with her on a lot of difficult issues. And I think right now, we need Alice right now. I'm not saying that Roger wouldn't do as good a job, but when I had to weigh the differences, in my opinion, for somebody that can just step right in and understand what's going on with the city at this point, I think Alice is the person for the job right now. And I certainly will support Roger's candidacy, as I would Dallas's candidacy. So my choice, and I'm going to tell you who it is, it's Alice for this position right now. So thank you very much to everybody for their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councilmember Spokely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to thank Ben and Dallas for having the courage to step up and throw their hat in the ring. It's a bit of an abbreviated process, but it still shows me a lot about the character of these two young men to step up the way they did and ask for the appointment. Ben, as a business owner in town, I think one of the council members mentioned, I can't remember who it was, that the timing is a little bit of a concern for me. I know how hard our local business people work. And when you're a owner, operator of a small business, and I know all of the time commitments involved with what we do day in, day out, that was something that kind of resonated with me, that time commitment, that time burden that might come as a real shock to folks who haven't had the opportunity to kind of work through the ranks in some of our various committees and commissions, to be plugged right in to realize how much of a time sink some of these committees are. I mean, we all know we go late into the night on many evenings, and we have day meetings, and I don't need to tell all of you because you all know. But I want to thank Ben in particular for stepping up, seeing a need, sharing his concerns about the business that he's running and the rest of the business community we have here in Auburn. I think it's fantastic that he put his application in. Dallas, same situation there. Young, energetic guy, reading his resume and some of the events that he's been involved with was very exciting to me, because I think that from an economic development standpoint, a guy like Dallas must have incredible experiences that he could bring to our city and help us promote this great little town that we live in from an economic development standpoint. Mike Holmes is obviously known to us all. He's done tremendous things for our community. The idea of the short term, just in it for a few months until the end of the term and then stepping aside, was concerning to me, as I think a few of you also shared. I want to see somebody who's anxious to get on the council, ambitious, and wants to get some things done and stick around for a while. I am a firm believer in limiting folks' time on the council. So for me, a few terms is plenty. I think Mr. Holmes had 3, maybe even 4 terms that he served, and he did it well. So thank you, Mike, for putting in your application as well. But I also am looking for somebody who's going to be sticking around after November. And everybody has, we all understand that whoever does get the appointment will have to rerun for the seat. But I'm looking for somebody to fill the seat on this interim basis, and then looking forward to running an active campaign to get reelected for the seat. I guess I'm like everybody, I'm down to Alice and Roger. I know them both very well. Roger has run for council before. He did a good job running for council before. I supported his campaign then. I think that Roger's presentation last night was very well done. So thank you, Roger, for that if you're listening. He presented well. I think he's got great experiences, and his background are all things that would be a benefit to this council. And I do like the fact that he is, or I think he announced last night, if I'm not mistaken, that he is going to run for the seat in November, no matter who gets selected. And Alice, obviously, she's got a very stellar resume. She has been my appointee on the planning commission since I got on council. I've checked in with a lot of folks regarding how she's doing, and I've heard nothing but glowing remarks for her abilities to conduct meetings and to weigh all sides of an argument and to come up with compromise in the midst of differing opinions. I guess I'll kind of cut to the chase as well. In my opinion, given everything that this city council has in front of us, and start at the top, selecting this person, whoever it is, to fulfill Mayor Kirby's vacated seat. The COVID-19 and the shutdown of our economy is obviously a huge challenge that we're all going to face. The economic impacts that we're going to be dealing with for not just months to come, but years to come, as we hopefully soon get on the backside of this pandemic. The hiring of key personnel from a city manager to an economic from a city manager to a finance director to a public works and planning director, all key components to the executive management that kind of runs our city. And these are all critical positions that this appointee is going to be put in front of as far as making these selections. So for me, I want to pick somebody who's familiar. Now I know Councilwoman Amara, you mentioned that there might be pressure. There's no pressure that I'm feeling on this selection. I'm deciding that I think Alice is the right choice because we've got critical decisions that have to be made in the next few months. The first being as soon as this Thursday for our next city manager. And I want somebody who's in the best position to hit the ground running and familiar with the city and going to help us make sound, educated, appropriate decisions that are in the best interest of our community and the city that we all love. So that is my position, and I'll send it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Great, thank you very much. I don't want to sound like a broken record because I think we're all kind of in agreement as far as the strengths and even the weaknesses of these candidates. One thing I just note for some of the new folks who applied, I too applied for a position on the school board and I was appointed. I have gone through this process, and it takes a lot to put your name out there and have yourself go through this type of a process. And so I am appreciative of the time that all 5 candidates took, and looking, reading the applications over the weekend and then listening to them and asking questions. I really feel that Auburn has got some really good options. And we don't always get that in an election. And I think that, this is an election. We have to kind of pick who we think best fits the moral fibers of our community and best can jump in and join us as a team in getting things accomplished. And I don't really think that any of the 5 would not be able to pick up and learn to do that. But for the reasons that you guys have all explained, I'm in the same position. I really narrow it down to Roger and Alice specifically. And I've kind of gone through some of the same discussion that you guys have had. And I think that's maybe where we just need to keep the discussion going tonight to fine tune this is Alice brings a wealth of experience. There is no doubt. I believe in my heart that in the election, she is going to come out on top. I mean, there's just the community involvement that Alice has is undeniable. But I also think that Roger brings a unique aspect to this council that the 4 of us don't have, and that's his unique perspective of being a city employee and specifically a police officer. And so while he owns a business and is a business owner now, like many of you, that public safety background to me brings a lot to the table. And so I've kind of weighed back and forth, and I'll be honest with you, I think where we need to have some continued discussion. I'm not going to make it completely easy and just agree that it should be Alice at this moment, but I'm also not going to deadlock us tonight of 2 for Roger and 2 for Alice. But I guess for me, it's just balancing what's the best for our community. And I think both of those 2 would be there. And so then I start to look at, well, what's going to happen in the election? The community is going to make that decision. I think Alice does have a much easier opportunity with her name recognition. And so do we give that opportunity, like Councilwoman Amara said, and provide a little additional support? Roger did come in 3rd in the last election, and that's not enough for the community to put him on this council just yet. But I do think that just needs to waver into the discussion. And so, without being wishy-washy, and it's hard being the last member, especially as we get closer to a deadlocked vote or a majority vote. But I just think that for me, we narrow it down to Roger and Alice, and then just need to make a decision on which one can really pick up and move forward.
Can I add?
And I kind of look it back to, we've narrowed. It sounds like we've narrowed it down to 2. I think everybody has made it kind of clear of where they are. I don't want to waste everybody's time in kind of circling through if we're just all going to say the same thing as far as 1 for Roger, 2 for Alice. But I don't know if anybody, now that we've narrowed it down to 2, has anything specifically on those 2 that we want to talk a little bit more about or ask, or whether we just want to move forward with a vote.
Well, one thing I think, if I could, it was brought up, and rightly so, that the person who is selected will be making a decision for city manager. And so Alice, was able to be a part of a committee to give her input. And we're going to put that into consideration. I think if we allowed Roger to be on the council now, at least he would have some say in who the prospective city manager would be. And then if the 2 of them ultimately we're on the council, at least they both would have had some say with regard to our prospective city manager. I don't know if that helps. I'm just throwing that out, that it kind of allows buy-in for both if we go that route. So I just thought that might be something for us to consider.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's a good addition. Do either Council Member Spokley or Councilwoman Mackey have anything additional on those two we want to discuss or bring up?
Well, I think that I think it's important that we are concerned about the November election and who might win and who might not win and who might run and who might not run. But this is here and this is now. And while I would love to have Roger on the city council, there's no doubt about it. That would be, that would be ultimate, but we only have one seat to fill. And to me, right now, we need somebody that's had experience on the council, who has had an experience hiring, firing. I mean, that's what she does in her day job. She is very experienced with government, not just, and I understand the logic of somebody that has been in a first responder, law enforcement, because, Daniel, you're a perfect example. You've made an excellent city council member and mayor with your background with CAL FIRE, and you've been very helpful many times, educating us, me particularly, on a lot of things regarding fire and negotiations, etc. So yes, it's very helpful. But I think with Alice, we have everything. And the government experience, as well as an employer experience, as well as legislative experience, all things wrapped up in one. And whether she would be the top vote getter in November or not should not matter in this decision-making process to me. It should be, who do we need for this position right now? And I firmly believe that it's Alice. If Alice wasn't here, I would pick Roger. But I do believe that Alice has the qualifications that we need at this time right now.
Great, thank you. Member Spokley, do you have anything else you want to add here?
I think just maybe to add on, obviously I've kind of declared my opinions on the appropriate candidate for where we're at today and all of the circumstances that we're involved with at this moment. Alice, I think, and it was touched on briefly, she brings the understanding of state government that I don't believe any of the other candidates, I don't believe Roger has quite the same grasp and understanding of how the state government system works. And let's be honest with each other, we are currently shelter in place, quarantined at home because of actions that our governor has taken. And I've been here for, boy, we're on 9 weeks now that my company has sent everybody home. So we're doing what we've been asked to do. But as we've been talking about the reopening process and what that looks like, I think that Alice, with her connections and her experiences at the state level, will bring that perspective that I'm not sure Roger has. And again, as mentioned a moment ago, if Alice wasn't in the running, my pick would be Roger. And I'm hopeful that whoever gets selected, we're going to have an active campaign in November, well, up to November, and see a whole slew of wonderful candidates running for the 2 seats that will be open. But right now, with the set of circumstances that we're all dealing with, I think that Alice is still the right person, given her vast experiences, specifically with state government.
I appreciate that. The thing I would, Councilwoman Amar, did you have a question or comment?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Go
just
ahead.
one statement before we wrap it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hear all of you, and I think everybody's articulating very well my feelings. I agree with Cheryl and Matt. Daniel, I agree with you. I agree with the fact that I think we all agree. Alice, has experience, but I also feel confident that the two of them equally can do the job right now, today, tomorrow, whatever is necessary. And then I guess the only other thing that tips it a little bit for me toward Roger, or it's something to consider, is that he is retired. He has, we talked about time commitment. He has an abundance of time. Alice, again, she'll put in the time. I know that. But again, I'm semi-retired. I have time. I understand that part of it, and I understand the commitment, especially now. Our commitment is very high. So I just want to throw that out.
No, I appreciate that. And, what I'm hearing from the three of you is that it sounds like we're all pretty well set that it's a strong support of the candidates that each of us have mentioned. It does take three of us to select the person. And so it doesn't have to be complete consensus if we're not going to get there. But can I just ask before we move on and try to take a vote to narrow it down, is there anything that the three of you would want or need answered to help just clarify, where you stand? Or are we all kind of in the boat that we're in a strong position of that's who we want? Because if that's the case, we can go ahead and vote. I just want to make sure we're giving ample time for discussion and questions, before we make that decision.
I think I'm good, Daniel.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilmember Spokley.
I was just going to say, if we want to bring Alice in to answer Councilwoman Amara's question regarding time and her ability to commit time to the important decisions we have coming up, I'm fine with that. But for me, I would think I'm in a good spot.
So,
I don't really need that. Just like, I don't know if you want to bring Roger in to ask him if he can step into the job. I think Alice will put in the time, but I'm just saying that when a person who is retired, and doesn't have another commitment, I think they have a little more time. But so that's just a statement. Maybe I don't know if you want to bring in Roger to ask him if he feels confident he can step into the job. But I feel good again. I feel good with all the candidates again, we narrowed it down to two. So if we're
just looking, would you like to have Alice join us and ask that question, and we can bring in Roger asking that question, or do we want to just keep moving?
I think we can keep it moving. Personally, I don't know what anybody else thinks. But I guess my question to my other council people, are we then, is there any movement by anybody, even a scintilla of movement, or are we?
Well, and that's, I appreciate you asking that, because I think that's kind of, we've all done our homework, so it's not like we're rushing into this decision. There are a lot of rumors of, I've seen it for all five people who, people are saying, the decision's made for different directions. I just want to make sure that if somebody is kind of on the fence and their number one and number two are somewhat close, we have the ample time to ask those questions. But if we're all firmly in our beliefs of who that number one should be, I want to waste all of our time and the applicant's time as well. But again, I don't want to rush us if that's not the will of the group.
Well, I'd kind of like to know where everybody's still at, because, and maybe I do know, because I respect both of them, and I would be satisfied with both of them. I'd be happy with either one, and I think we're all kind of saying that. So I would hate it for it to be a 3-1 vote in a way. So, let's be
Well,
honest. Is there anybody that's bending? If not, maybe we can.
Councilman Mack, if you could just oblige me for 1 second,
Sure.
learning to be mayor and doing my best to kind of play facilitator, I stay quiet and stay behind, but I also want to make sure that you do know that I do have an opinion on this. I do want to see Roger on this council. I do think that he has a whole list of it, but I also know that the 4 of us and now the 5 of us have to be a unified front when it comes to some of these issues that we're dealing with. And so, I am finding in this new role, it's only been 2 weeks, but, going last allows me to kind of just to listen and other people answer those questions. But I do think that Alice is probably our best pick here to just truly catch it, who's already at the speed that can go. But if I got to truly pick it out of a blank slate right now, I would go for Roger. But it can't be a 2-2 vote. And so there has to be some willingness to compromise. And for me, Roger and Alice, my list of their pros and I should say, and experience are different, but they're the same. And so it really, for me, comes back to, if there's no movement from anybody, and that's all right, then I'm definitely in agreement with my partners here that are advocating for Alice, because I know that she's going to step in, and on our meeting in 2 days, because we have a meeting on Thursday, we'll step in and make those decisions. So I just wanted to get that out there, that they're equal to me as far as their attributes, but just based on our discussion tonight, and our ability to move forward, because we can't have a split vote. There has to be 3 of us. I definitely, would agree that Alice is going to be a great vote. But with that, I don't want to completely taint the thought process, but I would just ask one last time, and kind of following with what Councilwoman Amara asked both council members Spokley and Councilwoman Mackey, is there any room for movement, or are you firm in your choice? Because if you're firm in your choice, I say we take a vote and let's get moving with our new team. So Councilwoman Mackey, you had wanted to speak. Sorry, thank you for letting me interrupt you as well.
No problem at all, Mayor. I don't want to appear stubborn or, not flexible or any of those things, but I'm just weighing both candidates. And like I said earlier, at this time in this place, after serving with Alice for 4 years on the Auburn City Council, I've seen her in action. I know she's calm under pressure. I know she understands labor agreements. I know she understands government. She has everything in the basket right now ready to go, as opposed to, I do believe that Roger will I think he'll learn quickly, but will take him a little bit longer to get up to speed. And so I'm really pretty firm on my choice as far as Alice is concerned.
Appreciate that. Councilmember.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would love to serve with either Roger or Alice. I think both will do a fantastic job. I hope in the near future I'll have the opportunity to serve with both on this council. But right now, we're facing the reality that 3/5 of our management staff at the city of Auburn is about to be appointed or hired. And that is a lot for one city to have to grapple with. I think that now, if ever, experience and background and historical knowledge of the city of Auburn is critically important. Again, both are fantastic candidates. This turnover that we are experiencing with the city manager, finance director, public works and planning director is unprecedented in my experience with any other local jurisdiction to be happening all at the same time. For this reason, I still am fairly resound in my opinion that Alice is the right choice right now for this appointment.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I want to just one final opportunity if there's any questions that either the three of you have for either the candidates or on the process before we, I'll ask for a motion. Okay, not seeing any additional questions that anybody has for the candidates. Councilwoman Mar, did you have a question?
Oh, well, before we vote, I just want to say, I do see where this is going. And so my vote will, although I'm firm with Roger, I do want to get this done, but my vote will be for Alice since we're going to be all working together. I think it's important to show support. So anyway, I just wanted to add that caveat.
No, and I appreciate that. And, I'll be honest with you, and I know there's others watching, but I think this is what makes the four of us a strong team, and adding another member, because as we've all pointed out tonight, we have some pretty critical decisions, not just for our economy and what's going to happen, but, for our city manager and some key positions. So appreciate the discussion tonight and appreciate the compromise as well. But I will go ahead and open up to see if there's a motion for the vacancy.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like.
Go ahead, Matt.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we appoint Alice Dowden Calvillo as our next city councilman to fill the vacated seat of Mayor Kirby.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. If I can ask the clerk to take the roll.
Sure. Councilmember Amara,
Yes.
Mackey,
Aye.
Stokely,
Yes.
and Mayor Berlant.
Aye. Thank you very much. Do we want to, Amy, do you mind letting Alice join in real quick and we can give her congratulations? Then we'll wrap up the meeting because we have another meeting in 2 days. So she'll be able to join us here.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate it. That was a nail biter. I was over here sweating bullets, So,
Well, we welcome you
thank you
to
so very much.
we welcome you to this team and to this council, and you'll get to experience the first council member appointed from home and sworn in. So we'll work with the city clerk to do that here at our Thursday meeting, I guess, maybe. But we'll work out those details.
I think they're Thursday or.
No, we'll be performing the oath of office right now.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
I thought we were
Perfect.
doing it tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, my apologies. I'll hand it over to the city clerk then, who clearly is up to speed, and I'll let her do that. So, Amy, this is all you.
Perfect. So if I could have everybody other than Alice and myself just temporarily mute their camera as well as their sound, then the viewers at home will have just us doing the oath of office. And Alice, are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you.
Okay, if you will raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Oh.
I, and state your name,
I, Alice Dowden Calvillo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
I take this obligation freely,
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
I will faithfully discharge the duties of City Council member
I will faithfully discharge the duties of City Council member
in and for the City of Auburn,
in and for the City of Auburn,
County of Placer,
County of Placer,
State of California,
State of California,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. And I'd like to thank the mayor and council members. I truly appreciate your confidence, your faith in me. I'm looking forward to jumping right in and doing the work that needs to be done for the people. I look forward to the campaign as well. And I know this was a difficult decision for you. There were some great candidates. And again, I'm very humbled and very honored that I was selected tonight. And I promise to work hard. So thank you so very much. Truly appreciate this.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Before I,
Congratulations, Alice.
I just wanted to announce to the group that Placer County's variance from the state was approved this evening. And so we'll be working to reopen
Good.
businesses. The council here, we will discuss this further on Friday at our economic workshop that is being agendized. It will be at 2 p.m. On Friday after we meet with the county. So some good news there. Councilwoman Darren Cavillo, welcome to the council, and you will get straight to work because we will be meeting on Thursday to interview for our city manager in closed session. So
Looking forward to that. I'm sure I'll be getting the documents soon so I can take a look at them before the interview. So thank you again. I truly appreciate this, and I am looking forward to working with each and every one of you. We've got some daunting tasks ahead of us, but it's like you said during your speech when you became mayor, that we are Auburn strong. So we'll get through this.
absolutely.
you.
Well, welcome. And with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Thank you, everybody.
Thursday. See you Thursday.
Thank you. See you Thursday.
Bye.